Hey guys, what's up? It's Dusty here, back with another crypto video, and I actually just made a Patreon page. Now, a couple of you guys requested me to make one so you could pledge something for the work, and this is actually also specifically for my second channel called Dusty Finance, so I can actually keep this channel ad-free forever, hopefully. There's a lot of cool videos on here, which I recommend you guys all to go ahead and check out, but let's get into the news of today. Bitcoin will wagers 10 BTC against Binance CEO that the price will plummet below $8,000 this month. So that is a very big bet to make. On August 2nd, Binance CEO CZ went ahead to tweet in jest about risk-averse investors who had sold Bitcoin when it was trading below 10K, telling such people to slap themselves so they cannot repeat the same mistake next time. This comment stemmed from Bitcoin price action as it broke the $10,000 resistance level to comfortably trade above 10.5K. Today, the Bitcoin price surged, reaching an intraday high of 12.3K as its dominance clocked 68.5%. CZ reminded his Twitter followers not to bet against Bitcoin. He then referred to his August 10th tweet, adding, "This is not financial information, but you can slap yourself a little harder now. But yes, you read it right. 10 BTC to CZ if Bitcoin doesn't drop below 8K this month." Following the tweet by CZ, the Binance CEO is fondly known an analyst, Bitcoin fund manager, and Bitcoin will, BitCrabs, and he replied stating, "Don't bet against Bitcoin? Okay, well, I disagree. If it doesn't crash below 8K this month, I'll personally send you 10 BTC. And I'm actually kind of wondering why he cannot just send it to me, right? If we're just making bets right here, why send it to, a quote-unquote billionaire? Since we don't really know if he is a billionaire or not anymore, or if he is. But why not send it to, somebody who would like it, like me? Because 10 BTC right now is about $117,000. It's a lot of money. Insane amount of Bitcoin to give away, right? Therefore, Mr. Krauss must have a well-thought-out price analysis to back this audacious bet. In an August 4th tweet, he explained that during this month, Bitcoin will face strong resistance at 11 and 12Ks. He offered a pictorial analysis observing, Bitcoin August analysis, BTC will fail to break next resistance. What will happen instead is we will reject it, then nosedive to 7.5 to 8K range. We will likely retest 9K around the middle of August, finally dip down to the yellow line by there. And there's a little bit of a tweet attached to it that we must see to understand it, which is right here. Now, one thing I don't understand is why he did not just bet on below 9,000 or below his point right here, instead of below 8,000 or to 8,000. It's a pretty, it's a pretty heavy bet you're making right there. And there's 100 and something thousand on the line. And again, that's something you don't just want to give away, right? At least me personally, it will be very difficult for me to give that away just for a lousy bet. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting prediction that he made right there. But hey, again, it is possible. So we're going to see how that plays out. I'll give you guys another update when we get a little bit closer. The HMRC are trying to clamp down on crypto tax dodgers. Yes, the British tax authority are said to be requesting information from exchanges for crypto avoiders. The HMRC has asked the likes of Coinbase, eToro, and CEX.io for customer transaction details. And now, guys, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you press the like button right now. It's a little bit of a different style, I know. I have many articles open and I just cover multiple coins and multiple pieces of crypto news in one. I just enjoy this a lot more to do instead of just focusing on one topic, one video each time. So if you guys could support this by leaving me some feedback in the comment section and pressing the like button, it would be very much appreciated. And yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. So what we saw a little bit ago was the IRS actually trying to track down on Coinbase and some other exchanges all the history of the tax avoiders to really get the money from them from 2013 to 2015. And here HMRC from the British tax authority is trying to get all this moolah as well. They're doing their best. An industry insider was cited saying, HMRC is looking to work with exchanges when it comes to finding information on people who have been buying and selling crypto. I think they will only go back a couple of years, 2 or 3 to be exact. Most likely. Again, we don't completely know what they're going to be looking for, but most likely 2 to 3 years is how far they're going to be looking back. If they had to do more, it would most likely be too much of an issue. But talking about this tax issue, one thing you should know is that not all letters are real. Beware, fake IRS letters are making the rounds this summer. Correspondence season is in full swing. That means that the Internal Revenue Service is sending out bills and notices to taxpayers, including correspondence focused on cryptocurrency and healthcare reporting. It may be hard for taxpayers to tell if it's the real thing or fakes, and scammers are taking advantage of the confusion. Here's what you need to know. Now, many taxpayers are aware that the IRS will never call to demand immediate payment over the phone or call about taxes owed without first having mailed you a bill. That's really important to know because you always get a bill first. Again, this is for people who have to deal with the IRS. Again, if you're in Britain, it doesn't matter. In the UK, to try and trick taxpayers, some scammers are sending letters hoping that folks will take the bait. And I've actually personally seen this as well in different countries. I've lived in many countries and I've seen it at multiple places. What they didn't do is try to get your one of your tickets. Either they just wait a little while for you to get one ticket, or they don't even. They just send you a fake ticket. It can be like a parking ticket. I don't know how it works in America, but you just get a parking ticket in the mail, and it just says to write some money over to X address, right? And what happens then is they send you a false address that you have to send it to, and they make up a ticket that you have to pay. And most people will not even watch it too closely; just grab the address and just pay the amount if it's only 30 or 40 euros, and that's how they get a lot of money. Others will try to steal something out of your mail, but in this case, they're scamming you with either trying to call you into saying you still have some debt that you have to pay, or by again putting something in your mailbox that looks like something that you have to pay. In one version, the letter threatens an IRS lien or levy based on bogus, delinquent taxes owed to a non-existent agency called the Bureau of Tax Enforcement, because there is no such agency. The lien notification may also reference the IRS to make you think that the letter is legitimate. The IRS warned taxpayers about this trick and others earlier this summer. You can read about it on their warnings right here on the IRS warnings website. It's on Forbes, I believe. They have a section for that as well about what the IRS warns for. Since then, taxpayers have continued to report receipts of fake IRS letters. Some variations of fake IRS letters claim that a warrant has been issued to a taxpayer because of unpaid tax obligations. As with previous scam efforts, the letter goes on to warn that the warrant could result in arrest or other criminal action if the taxpayer doesn't pay immediately. And that's again where people get confused, people get scared, and that's where they start to pay. And here's a little bit more of a story about what they do send letters for, and here are some ways to spot a legit IRS letter from a fake one. But I'm not going to be going over that all the way. If you really want to know how you can differentiate them, make sure you just take a screenshot right now or read through it yourself, as there are just too many things to go over here and way too many things to look at such a letter or a call. I mean, for a call, it's pretty obvious. They will probably not call you to say, hey, you have to pay up right now. It'll most likely be done through another letter, but you get the idea. Now, guys, Bitcoin price could hit 15K as safe haven standing soars. This has been something that's been going back and forth for the last couple of months. But here was another article that I found quite interesting on the situation of the US and China and how this is all coming along. It also mentioned Brexit. It also mentioned every big thing in the world that's going on right now and what their stance is towards crypto. Against a backdrop of China's yuan hitting its lowest level since 2008, again due to the US claiming a couple of things against China, against changing the value of their currency. This week, rattling global markets in the process, there is a growing consensus that Bitcoin is becoming a safe haven asset. Why this is going so is there's a lot of speculation going around on Twitter that has people saying that all the Chinese are buying into crypto right now because it's a safe haven, because it's a store of value, it's a pretty good one. Then there was a Twitter battle of people going back and forth saying that that is not the case, that there's no Chinese buying Bitcoin because it's a safe haven. They're just buying it as speculation, and that it's mostly still just Americans and other people around the world buying for speculation instead of just being a safe haven because their currency is not doing good. A lot of back and forth. But now, because of all these situations and everything that's going on, again, it's a very long story, but here's a little bit of it summed up for you guys. This could all push the price upwards of $15,000. The Brexit that's going on, the China trading war that's going on, the tariffs that's been just happening. There's so much here. The issues that have been notified to people with gold as a store of value. Again, the Chinese yuan falling. Everything is all pointing towards holding BTC. And yeah, it definitely looks quite real. It definitely looks like a big problem as well. Is the Federal Reserve FedNow project bullish news for Ripple? Well, this of course depends on how exactly they're going to be utilizing Ripple. If you have no idea, the Federal Reserve had a pretty cool presentation, I think it was yesterday already, and I did a video on that explaining everything about it and everything that we knew. So we watched the whole video in a video. That sounds kind of strange, but yes, we did. And now, what is most important, most notable, is that a Ripple employee, Dilip Rao, actually reported on the Fed payments post, and he said, "Great move. FedNow would drive the transformation to real-time payments infrastructure around the world, both domestic and cross-border. Ripple mission IOV." And this is, I think, what grabbed most of the people to say that, FedNow is going to be working with Ripple instead of some other payment provider, but we don't know quite yet. We know that there are a lot of connections between the Federal Reserve and Ripple, but they're actually part of a bigger plan. And what I'm trying to say with that is we know that Ripple and the Federal Reserve are already involved with a couple of things, yet we don't completely know what they will be picked for, if they will act as a backup in this FedNow new system, or if they're not going to be chosen for this. It's all just a little bit of speculation and kind of putting the dots together, kind of stringing the dots together, as we know a lot makes sense, right? And here the Crypto Dog on Twitter says, "Curious to see Ripple's response to FedNow. It's clear at least some XRP holders are feeling the heat. Just check Google searches, not trying to spread FUD, but looking forward to see how this plays out." And you can see right here, if you type in FedNow, you find XRP and Ripple pretty high up right there, because a lot of people have been searching for it. And it's also not that crazy or not that strange, because the signs are there. And again, I did a whole video explaining about why the signs are there and what the correlation is, and that's going around right now. But here they're saying, secondly, Ripple has been a part of the Federal Reserve's Faster Payment Task Force, with the company's head of research on the business development team, Ryan Zagone, elected as a member of the Task Force Steering Committee in 2015. Finally, Ripple published a blog post on July 2017 on the Fed Task Force action plan for faster payments being released. According to Ripple, the action plan highlighted Ripple's ability to underpin the next generation of cross-border payments. And again, we actually covered this all in that video, but what was most important about the situation here is that there was definitely a possibility, and it was kind of a 1 in, let's say about 1 in 30 chance of Ripple becoming this new FedNow partner. And now that we read all the info about it, now that we saw the whole video about it, I think the chance is really 1 in 5 or something like that. It really is looking too good. And again, to put some emphasis on the situation here and to show you guys how important it is, Ripple may be gambling to be part of Federal Reserve's FedNow service, which is set to give U.S. payment system a facelift. It is pretty obvious what's going on with that, so I don't want to go over it once more, but yeah, it's a little bit of a waiting game now, guys. We don't know everything about it yet, but I'm pretty excited about the whole situation. Here's a pretty cool part as well. I just remembered now. What if it's not Ripple? You should read this part if you're interested, but I'm personally rooting for them. I'm vouching for them. I'm hoping, and I'm gonna put my money on there, though we don't know yet. And again, all the signs are there. There's just more and more people showing like it will be the case, but really, we don't know. Ripple invests in Equilibrium Connect. Here's why it matters. And I've never seen this before. I have no idea what it is about. Ripple's subsidiary Spring has invested in a brand new startup called Equilibrium Connect. In such a way, the San Francisco-based crypto behemoth wants to solve the main points of the Interledger, the blockchain agnostic payment protocol. Stepping into breach. After emerging from hiding, Equilibrium Connect has revealed that it will focus on creating open source developer tools for the Interledger ecosystem. Interledger, which is created by Ripple's former CTO Stephen Thomas, strives interconnects all blockchains and other value networks to exchange money without any limitations. Despite its ambitious goal, the project struggled with adoption big time. And according to Equilibrium Connect founder Teemu Päivinen, there is not enough liquidity in the project with very few participants. Hence, Interledger isn't able to function properly until it gets off the ground. So they want to make Interledger accessible, and Equilibrium Connect has a three-pronged approach to making Interledger more accessible. The company will build a multi-currency connector that is capable of routing payments across any system on a global scale. From the outset, the connector will support three major currencies: BTC, Ethereum, and XRP. Equilibrium Connect will work on a web API that will allow it to seamlessly interact with the Interledger network while also implementing straightforward onboarding solutions. Pretty cool, guys, if I must say so myself. Moving forward, Apple credit card can't be used to buy cryptocurrencies. This has been in the speculation and in the realms for quite a long while, but I just saw another confirmation of people saying that no, with the Apple credit card, it's designed and built so you cannot buy your crypto in the traditional way. The Apple credit card, launched in March by Apple Inc. in partnership with the Goldman Sachs Group and MasterCard, cannot be used to buy cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, according to the Apple Card customer agreement. The agreement says the card cannot be used for the purchase to purchase cash advances or cash equivalents, traveler's checks, foreign currencies, cryptocurrency, money orders, racetrack wagers, lottery tickets, casino gaming chips, etc. Most of the American, Canadian, and British banks had banned the use of their credit card to purchase cryptocurrencies way back in 2018. Now, again, it's actually pretty obvious why people, why this has been banned and why you should not allow anybody to buy cryptocurrency or any of these other things with your card. If I were a credit card provider, I would not want to have that high of a risk of somebody going way over his budget, right? Going, let's say I don't know what the max is of his credit card, but let's say about $70,000 or whatever. Let's say 10,000 just to name it a little thing, right? He has no money anywhere, but his credit card and his credit score was pretty good. So, you know, he was allowed to borrow 10,000. So again, he just did that. He borrowed the whole 10,000. Bitcoin goes to zero. He has no money left and he can't pay it off. So his credit card bill just gets higher and higher, right? And he tried some other different schemes by just, you know, doing everything they could to pay it off, but it's just not working up. And it's just getting higher and higher and higher just because he just lost $10,000, you know, in a very stupid way. And again, you might be saying like, yeah, but there's tons of ways to lose $10,000. There is, but with BTC, it's actually a very, very quick one, potentially a very quick one in terms of risk. And otherwise, it might also be because then, you know, you can just take the money from the credit card and then maybe go away real quick. I don't know. You can probably still do that since they'll ban you afterwards. I don't know, but in my head, it does sound like a good thing to have in your code, you know, in your agreement, just to not have them buy it. So they're a little bit more risk aversive. Litecoin Foundation's community manager debunks developer Abandonment, claims as LTC records positive sentiments. There has been tons of talks about Litecoin right now because, of course, the halving. As expected, Litecoin made headlines after the stablecoin rallied to break its resistance following its scheduled halving. However, the rally was short-lived, with Litecoin staying above the $90 support level. Many dramatic assumptions regarding its valuation were made, with claims of miners shutting their shops during the rounds. Unfazed by the FUD, however, Litecoin miners have not shut down their shops despite the block reward halving. Charlie Lee tweeted BlockChair's chart to explain that the Litecoin network was indeed healthy. He said, "We are mining at a rate of a block every 1.4 minutes on average, which is much faster than the expected 2.5 minutes. That's again where a very big difference lies, of course. The transition did not negate the market sentiment for the coin either. Additionally, according to the TIE, Twitter conversations for Litecoin were very positive. The metric provided a measure of how positive or negative conversations on Twitter are over the last few days. Against a rolling 7-day period, a score of over 50 suggested that the conversations were positive, and it was at about 72%. So really, in total, it was all way more positive than people expected. It was all pretty okay, and there were a lot of expectations that Litecoin was not going to get mined anymore. Litecoin was going to go down right now, but everything actually turned out pretty well. A lot of the people who were to abandon have stayed around. A lot of the FUD has died down. The price is doing pretty okay. Yeah, it's just been a shitstorm, so to speak, even though it was not necessary that way. Really, it's just been completely taken out of hand, and it was not that special. It was all pretty good. So yeah, guys, that was actually it for this video. Make sure you go ahead and check out my second channel called Dusty Finance. A lot of cool videos on here. Make sure you check it out. Also, guys, make sure right now that you go check out the Patreon page, just to check it out. You don't have to pledge anything. You just check it out and see what I can do better on that. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter. And, of course, make sure you press the like button if you enjoyed this video. And make sure you comment some feedback down below. And subscribe if you want some more crypto updates. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. This was not financial advice. Take care, everybody.